Hello and welcome back to Scout Report. Today we're looking at 5 players who dropped off big time in 2019. 5. Miguel Almiron. On January 31st, Newcastle completed a then club record transfer of $26 million for Miguel Almiron from MLS side Atlanta United. The Tsunami are optimistic following his arrival, hoping he could carry his form overseas, but the 25-year-old was largely disappointed in his debut year. Almiron was instrumental in his former side's success as they lifted the MLS Cup for the very first time in his final season. The Paraguayan was lethal in attack, contributing to 26 goals. He was also one of only 6 players to record double figures for both goals and assists in the league. Since moving to England, he has 0 goals and just 1 assist in 26 games, finally getting his first goal contribution in his 24th game for the Magpies. Although the Premier League has undoubtedly played at a much higher level, greater things were still expected from the forward. At Atlanta, Almiron's shots per 90 were only bested by Giovinco. The South American was taking around 3.8 shots per game, that's 2 more than he's averaging this year. In his defence, given the amount of shots that Newcastle take in total, 1.8 isn't too bad, and on a par with the likes of Crystal Palace's Wilfried Zaha. But Almiron is only putting 0.6 of those on target. In short, he's simply not testing the goalkeeper enough. The former MLS man is also creating far less, with 2.1 key passes per 90 in 2018, dropping to 1 a game this year. That's the 9th highest in the squad. This drop-off is reflected by his expected goals and assist value for 2019, which currently stands at 0.23. For context, that's less than Bournemouth defender Nathan Ake. There have been signs of improvement under Steve Bruce though, with Almiron his second most used player. Ultimately, as a forward, he'll be judged on his goals and assists output, which has been practically non-existent this year. Let's hope that changes come 2020. Before we move on, if you're not a member of the EFD squad, then hit subscribe and turn notifications on. Let's go. 4. Marcos Alonso. At one point considered a top left back, helping Chelsea to 3 trophies in 3 years and being named in the PFA's Team of the Season for 17-18, Marcos Alonso is now largely out of favour at Stamford Bridge. The 28-year-old joined the Blues in 2016 from Fiorentina for €27 million. In his first season, he played a key role in their title success, being implemented almost as a winger in Conte's 3-4-3 formation. This gave the Spaniard licence to roam forward, and he duly delivered with 10 goals and 3 assists in 2017, scoring more than any other defender in Europe's top 5 leagues. Alonso started to show signs of decline under Sarri though, proving less of a goal threat with 4 goals in 2018, a figure he's matched this year. His assists are also down from 7 to 4, and this is represented in his underlying numbers, which point towards a general decline. In 2017-18, the wingback was taking 2 shots a game, the most of any defender in the league, and even more than Leicester's Jamie Vardy. Under Lampard, his number of shots has diminished, now taking just 0.7 a game. Never an outstanding defender, Alonso was decent enough in his prime. In that Premier League winning season, he was dribbled past just 0.7 times per 90. Now, that's up to 1.3 this term, showing he's more vulnerable in one-on-one situations now they've reverted to a back 4. The Spaniard has made 13 appearances this season, but hasn't played since November. Lampard has lost his faith in the defender following some poor performances and has since opted for Brazilian Emerson or captain Azpilicueta at left back. Alonso's last game came against Ajax in the Champions League, with the former Bolton player substituted at half-time, having conceded 3 goals and a match high of 3 fouls, one of those proving costly and leading to a goal. The Athletic claim that figures in the Chelsea camp think Alonso's drop-off in form might be a result of that $100k a week contract he signed in October 2018. The Blues are reportedly willing to sell him in January, with, shock horror, Inter Milan favourites to secure his signature. A reunion with Conte may be what the fullback needs as he looks to resurrect his career. 3. Bertrand Traore. Another player that Chelsea fans will be familiar with is Bertrand Traore, who found himself at the centre of controversy in the summer. The forward signed his first professional contract at Stamford Bridge in 2013 at the age of 18, but was not registered until 2014, an error that the Blues were later punished for with a transfer ban. Traore made just 16 appearances for the Chelsea first team, moving to Lyon for €10 million in 2017 to seek more game time, and the 24-year-old has not been short of minutes since making the move. In 2017, he contributed 11 goals in 27 games, but had his best year to date in 2018, where he topped his club's scoring charts with 19 goals. The Burkina Faso international also assisted 9 that year, taking his goal involvements up to 28. Only Memphis Depay managed more in the Lyon squad. At the time of writing, he's assisted for and scored for in 41 games, a 79% decrease from the previous year. This is reflected by his decline in shots, with 2.6 per game in 17-18, falling to 1.5 this season. As a result, his expected goals have fallen to 0.1 this term, and though the metrics suggest he should have scored at least 1, the former Ajax man remains goalless, having had the most shots in his league without scoring this season. With no goals since March, Traore is looking bereft of any confidence. Not only is he struggling in front of goal, he's failing to utilise that pace too. In 2017-18, he completed 1.7 dribbles a game. That was more than Marseille's Dimitri Payet. But now, that's fallen to 1.1 dribbles per 90 this term, only best for 7th in the squad. When Traore was on song last year, there were rumours that Chelsea would activate his buyback clause. But any chance of a return to West London has now been scuppered by a forgettable year. 2. Christian Eriksen. Tottenham's league form in 2019 has been poor. Just 49 points in 34 games at the time of writing, their lowest points tally in a calendar year since 2008. Many members of the Spurs squad have underperformed in that time, but none more so than Christian Eriksen. The 27-year-old is usually such a reliable source of goals and assists, but that has declined massively this year. At the peak of his powers, Eriksen was almost unplayable, contributing to 35 goals in 2017. But he's now producing less than half that output, with 17 goal involvements this year, his lowest since 2015, and even topped by Liverpool defender Trent Alexander-Arnold. In 2016-17, he was taking 3.7 shots per game. That's down to 1.3 this term. Renowned for his creativity, with his ability to play that killer pass, the Danish international created 78 chances in 2018, only bettered by Eden Hazard, but that's dropped to 57 this year, representing a 37% decrease. This equates to around 1.3 key passes per 90, a huge drop-off from the 3.1 he was producing in 16-17, and only good enough for 4th in Spurs' squad. In the aforementioned season, when they finished second, he had an expected goals and assist value of 0.58 per 90, but that's dropped to 0.36 this season, the lowest of his career, and less than the likes of Sheffield United's John Lundstrom. The former Ajax man is just one of 2 players to assist 10+ Premier League goals and assists in 4 successive seasons after David Beckham. But with just 1 assist so far this season, Eriksen looks unlikely to surpass the Englishman. The playmaker's deterioration has coincided with his desire to leave North London when his contract expires in June. It's looking increasingly likely that Spurs will cash in on the Dane in January rather than let him leave in the summer for nothing. However, with this form, he may have scuppered his chances of a move to Real Madrid. 1. Rony Lopes. Just 4 months ago, Sevilla completed the signing of highly rated Rony Lopes for a record fee of €21 million. The La Liga side had high hopes for the 23-year-old, following 2 solid seasons at Monaco, but so far the Portuguese has failed to impress in Spain. At the time of writing, Lopes has made just 6 appearances for the club, and only 1 of those has come in the league. The youngster is yet to score for his new side and is looking a shadow of his former self. In 2017, Lopes racked up 19 goal involvements in all competitions, and the following year he was just as impressive with 18, netting 15 in 25 games. 8 of those goals came in consecutive matches, which is the second best run in Liga in this century, only bettered by Zlatan Ibrahimovic at PSG in 15-16. Fast forward to 2019 though, and Lopes' form has dropped off drastically. In 29 games, 3 more than he played last year, the former Manchester City man has just 4 goal involvements, scoring only once. This is some way off the player that scored 14 league and goals in 2018 and was deadly inside the box. However, some of that blistering form last campaign may have just been luck. The Brazil-born attacker outperformed his XG by 5.7 that year. Only Florian Thauvin at Marseille had a higher positive XG difference at 11. Last season, he averaged 2 key passes a game, the 10th highest in the division, and above the likes of Nicola Pepe. Now, that's down to 0.4 a game. Lopes was particularly poor in his last appearance against Karabag in the Europa League. failing to take a single shot or complete a dribble, managing just 2 touches in the opposition's box. He was subbed off in the 54th minute at 0-0, and his replacement, Bryan Gil, went on to score an assist as the Spanish side won 2-0. Lopes hasn't scored since February, and subsequently he's been linked with moves away from Sevilla in January. So guys, there were 5 players who really suffered in 2019. Can you think of any more? Let us know in the comments below. Are we being harsh? Do you disagree? Let me know on Twitter. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.